Welcome to episode, oh God, what is it? 196. Episode 196. We're almost at 200. We gotta do something 200. I don't know what, but we gotta do something. How y'all doing this week?
Everything cool, man. I think I've gotten to the point with Hollow Knight where when you start playing a game and you get really into it, you think about it when you go to work, whatever, you're really into it. But I'm past that, and I've only gotten this way with, I can't say a few games. I've gotten over.
What do you mean by past that?
Like where you're not only are you thinking about it all day, but you're it's bad. It's okay, I'm at work. I got to go to the bathroom. I grab my Switch. My wife, we're watching a TV show. My wife pauses it to go to the kitchen 10 feet away. I start playing.
Okay.
My kid, every moment I get, I'm freaking playing this game. I'm so obsessed with it. And my friend, the game, you can beat it. If you were mainlining it, my guess is you could probably beat it in, I don't know, 30 hours, maybe 25 hours. If you really, really, really were just straightforward mainlining and you're really good at the game, maybe.
Which would kind of be hard to do in
that would be hard to do.
Yeah,
in a game like this, especially because it's really difficult. I'm already 60 hours in. I haven't beaten it. I rolled the credits, but I didn't beat it with the true ending. So now that I spent 50 hours without looking anything up, and now I'm looking everything up. And there are so many things that I had no clue that were in the game that I'm just discovering, finding, things you had no idea about. And I'm just having a blast, man, just finding everything. And now I'm doing the find 30 of these things, find 50 of these that kind of thing, those kinds of things. But I'm having so much fun because the map is so cool. And as I'm doing that, I'm finding extra things, new abilities, new weapons, new bosses. I'm just having a blast, man. So, and then there's a whole nother section that I'm going to then go and find the true ending for. So my guess is I'll get to at least, I don't know, 75, 80 hours maybe before I'm done with this game. So yeah, it's just fantastic.
I wouldn't have expected that. Yeah.
$20. Let's remember, this game was $20. It's freaking crazy, man.
One big question I have then is, this is the first time that you've played a game this hardcore on your Switch too. In terms of a hardware point of view, what do you think?
I
don't know, comfortability, is it good?
I think it's great. Remember, I've been playing on this Satisfy grip, this thing, and I think it's great. It feels awesome. If you have bigger hands, which I kind of have a feeling all three of us have somewhat bigger hands, it's awesome for it. I remember when I had the Switch Lite, it was just too small for it. Granted, that is meant to be smaller.
It's small.
It felt too small for me. Even the normal Switch, I feel my hands just felt a little too big. My hands would just rest on it, and my thumbs would just kind of feel a little too big for it. This thing feels great for it. With the grips on the back, you could just sit for hours, and this thing feels real comfortable.
The Joy-Cons and analog sticks are much bigger. Buttons are much bigger. Screens much bigger.
Yep.
So
yep. And I don't know whose touch this was, if it was Nintendo or Team Cherry or what, but it has a subtle. What does Nintendo call the vibration in their Joy-Cons again? They have right? HD Rumble.
HD Rumble. Yep.
It has a little subtle HD Rumble throughout the game at all times, and it's so good. I can't even tell you
that would be the game devs when that's the thing. It's on the game devs.
Okay, so they did a fantastic job with it because I can't tell you as I'm playing that I even notice it that much. But when I'm thinking of it now, after I'm done playing, I'm like, wow, that was going the whole time. And it's little things, when you're running and you're jumping and you're swinging your weapon. But it's really well done. They did a good job implementing it. So
I would explain to people, it's Astrobot when you're running in the grass, how it gives a rumble that's different than you being on a cement or something.
They do a really good job of it feeling like a subtle, when Hornet's running, it's tick, 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 and it just feels good. They do a good job. But man, I think this game is easily my game of the year. Expedition 33 was probably my game of the year before this, and that game's awesome. But man, this game just took it to another level for me, So yeah, man, I can't get enough of it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I know I kind of gave away my whole what am I playing, but man, that's all.
Whatever. I will get to it, and very looking forward to it.
It'll be waiting for you, man. Not going anywhere. So yeah. How about you guys?
Eddie, how's life?
I'm under the weather. This weather change
Oh man,
got
I'm
me,
waiting.
has got me messed up. So, like, last night. I went to bed at like 11 and woke up at 1 a.m. and then couldn't go back to sleep. I watched this. I want to call it a shitty movie because like half of it was just the main characters like and making out, but and I was like, I'll just skip it through. I'm like, I'm not interested in this now because the premise it's Jennifer Lawrence and the dude from The Office. It's where they wake up on the station.
What dude from The
They're on a
Office?
generational. He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know the dude's name. The head dude from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, he was in Parks and Rec. He wasn't in The Office.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
Andy
right. Yeah, you're right.
in Parks and Rec.
And yeah. The one that married Audrey Plaza's character.
Yeah.
So he's in it, and basically it's like a ship where they go into like cryostasis or like deep like. It's not really cryo; they're not frozen. So anyway, they all go to sleep, and then they go on this like 120-year ride to this new planet that they're colonizing, and they wake up.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, he wakes up at like 30 years into it, so he's fucked, and he can't get back to sleep, and he ends up sabotaging. Jennifer Lawrence's pod to get her to wake up, and and there's all that drama between but it was just they didn't really go too heavy into the sci-fi stuff, which is why I was watching it, but it was more of like a romance thing. But I was stuck watching that. I didn't go back to sleep till like 4:30 or 5, dude. So I'm not feeling great right now.
Well, knock on wood, even though it's going to happen anyway, because every time the weather changes, I get badly sick, and I have yet to yet. So, well, I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah,
it's never failed.
Hopefully not. The first day I had it, I had like a horrible migraine, and then the coughing on top of it, dude. It felt like my head was gonna bust, and I couldn't. I tried sleeping. I took NyQuil, like just trying to get to sleep, and I basically just made me a zombie for the whole day. And I took off Monday, and just laid in bed and just doom scrolled the whole day, and I could not go to sleep, dude. Because every time I'd have a cough. Every time I'd lay down, I'd have a coughing attack. So it sucks, man. Yeah, but I like the weather. Fun. It's nice. It's nice when it gets down and like waking up and it's like in the low 60s and stuff.
Yeah, right now it's in the 60s. I would assume.
Yeah.
So fantastic. This is how. Yeah, if it could just be like this forever, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
But we'll get hit with 105.
Yeah, at least one more heat wave before winter hits.
We got one like a few days ago. I thought we were good. I thought we were in the clear, and it was hot as hell a few days ago.
Yeah.
All right, enough about the weather. Dear God, guess we're all 50.
Fucking old man here.
I want to talk on the state of Xbox because I think it's hitting the hay. I think we're shutting the doors. I think it's now turning into which they've been very good about recently, calling things Microsoft again and not even using the word Xbox. And so I think it's they're going to be the biggest publisher in the world. I think that's going to be the case, but it's going to be a Sega situation, and I feel that's where it's turning. Even if they do release a console next, which I do think they will, it's going to be I think it's going to be a sort of PC approach sort of deal, which I'm kind of hoping for, but at the same side, it's not really an Xbox. Like, I think they are going to ditch, like, it's not like Series X and S games or Xbox One or Xbox 360 or original Xbox. I think the only games that are going to work in the new ecosystem are going to be the Play Anywhere titles kind of situation, because this ROG Ally is a good example of like, hey, these Play Anywhere titles, because they're playing PC, whatever, the PC stuff basically working, but I don't think they're going to go back into it being like, oh, here's an Xbox of like, here's a closed ecosystem of games being made directly for this system. I think it's going to be, if they release another system, it's more of just here's a PC and PC games to run on it. And I think that's where they're heading. And I think Xbox is sort of at its closing doors here of their consoles being an actual console and not a computer.
Yeah, I don't know why they would release like a straight up console. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, but to me, it would make more sense to do. Like, it would be a huge thing if they release a console and it had Steam integration. Like, you could play your Steam games on it, or like basically, it's a more like a, what do they call it? Like a
so on the ROG Ally, they have
type
Windows 10 Home, and they basically boost Home and try to make it a gaming platform. So that's what they're currently working on. So I think it will just basically naturally bleed into more of that.
Yeah, like do like a kiosk mode Windows.
Yeah.
And then
it's
not like full blown,
It's technically Windows, but we're just using things. Because Xbox Series X and S are forks of Windows. It is technically, it's like a certain version of 10, but it's still a specific version of 10. And it's not like Windows 10 Home, for example, or Windows 11 Home, for example, isn't a different version of it. It's just like it strips some of its capabilities. It's not like it's used in a different version necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they would technically call it a version, but I don't know the word to use. But I think y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not using the same kernel, let's say. Maybe something like maybe that would be the correct term. I don't know. Either way, but what do y'all? I mean, let's say all of this is the case, and we don't get an Xbox, sort of like again, like how a PlayStation or Nintendo. Oh, here's an Xbox. Games are made for it, and we also port games to PC. No, it's the console's now gone, and whatever box they release next is just a PC, and they don't really. Let's say they use the word Xbox or not. If that were to all take hold and you couldn't play previous Xbox titles, like Xbox purchased things wouldn't come over to it, and it's only PC stuff, and it's now just a PC and yada yada. Is there any, what are y'all's feelings on that in terms of, is it anything you care about if they're gone from the console market? Does it even matter to y'all?
I guess okay, so it doesn't, only reason I'll say it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter at all in the sense of, I don't care at all. It doesn't affect me directly in the sense of I'm not going to buy an Xbox console, right? But it matters to me in the sense of I worry about, okay, well then will PlayStation get even more complacent? Because I'm looking right now at PlayStation's, let's say, output this generation, right? I'm hearing already that PlayStation's considering putting out their new console in 2027. And I'm like, what? Like, I understand that it's been the proper amount of years, but in no way, shape, or form should you be putting out a PS6 in 2027. How many big games have you even put out in the last almost 6 years?
Ghost of Yote is their only first party this year, I want to say.
Like,
and then Wolverine is their next. When is that coming out? But either way.
I think next year in the fall, right? So let's count those two, okay? And then if we want to give them some grace, let's throw in even exclusives that aren't even first party, right? You have like Returnal, Demon Souls, what else was on PS5 this generation? Can we think of any other?
I mean, there are some. Ratchet and Clank.
There's like a handful. Ratchet and Clank.
Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Well, that's PC, but I guess whatever.
Fine, but I'm giving them some grace here, right?
Spider-Man 2.
We probably would get
maybe
up to
6 or
maybe
7?
Like 6, 7. Oh God, that
not much. That's really low. I mean, if you've been
hearing. I'm sure you've been hearing your son, right? 6, 7. I'm sure you've been hearing this, right? God, that's all I freaking hear. Okay, cool. Anyway, it's like I don't feel like you guys should be preparing to release another console. Like, who's buying this? You know? But that makes me think
the word is 2027. for both
Right.
PlayStation and whatever Microsoft does.
Right. So if Xbox decides, okay, we're not gonna put out any more consoles, we're gonna be just a publisher, it almost makes me feel like Sony's gonna like recede more into their, oh well, we're top dogs in this. We don't need to really worry about. They're gonna take even longer with their games. We're fine. We don't have to worry. You know what I mean?
They're really bad about
more.
writing comfortable and thinking they're the hot shit,
Yes.
and then they just slowly start to decline because of it.
And Nintendo will keep doing what they do, which is no matter how much crap people give Nintendo, they always consistently continue to put their first-party games out at a steady pace. It always happens, right? They're
very good. What, 20, 30 games a year, basically.
We got Mario Kart and DK back-to-back. Then we're going to get Metroid Prime in like 2 months.
Those are the huge slammers too. But
that's 3 and 6
general sense, if you just think of Nintendo first party in 2025, it's gonna be a big list.
Oh
like, Nintendo.
I was looking the other day, and they had a decent amount. So.
But yeah, I do think the incentive for PlayStation to release first party games is going to go down because they're going to be, well, Xbox is going to release whatever console they have, but really, even if they do if PlayStation does the bare minimum and keeps them exclusive, Microsoft is going to release all of their stuff on PlayStation anyway. So if you're trying to get one console that's going to, do as everything, you would go with Sony. So now Xbox is, publishing on your platform, and
why would you buy an Xbox if you could just buy their games on PlayStation? Yeah,
and then Sony, you just have to put out a couple games a year to make it worth the investment to buy into that platform. Because the PlayStation, to me, the Switch is a different category of right or wrong. I think it's perceived as a different category of console where, like, the high-end graphics and that side of
PlayStation's not necessarily worried about them, or they're not necessarily making all these specific moves around them. They even put their stuff on Nintendo. They've done now 2 or 3 different games, so that's not really. I'm sure in some sense it's a competitor in their eyes, but not by much,
Yeah, they have their own niches carved out, and they can both succeed and exist, together without hindering each other's bottom line. But from a purely, like, how is it going to affect me? I don't care that Xbox, because I'm a PC player primarily. So whatever they do, as long as they keep releasing it on PC, then that's great. But
they will. So.
From the side of, like, my nostalgia and thinking about all the experiences I had on their previous consoles, and just for this last, 2.5 decades, just knowing that there's Xbox and PlayStation, and there's this thing that is is separate. It is, console gaming has always been like this separate thing. That's the fact that that's starting to look like it's going the way of the dodo is a bummer. But me as a PC player, how big of an impact is it going to have? I don't. Obviously, it's probably not going to have much of an impact, if any at all. But I do think that, like, even if they do release a new console, I think the writing's on the wall. Xbox is they're going to be getting out of the traditional buy our box, we'll deliver experiences to you exclusively on this box. I think that their best bet is, if they want to stay in hardware, is to make a cheap PC, an affordable PC, because then that changes if that's what they go for, and it does have compatibility with, at least, like I said, if they can have Steam games play on it, it changes their cost from, okay, 500 is like what you would expect for like just a normal traditional console. But if you're competing with gaming PCs, then you can charge $750.
You can charge $1,000. You can charge $1,000, and you can say, here is a powerful gaming PC that we have to a pretty high spec with, like, custom parts, but it's a full-on Windows experience. It's $1,000. I think they could totally get away with that. And honestly, as a consumer, it doesn't sound bad all depending on what it's capable of, which I would just have to see, benchmark specs, all that. But if I was
And
happy with
backwards
what I was
compatibility,
seeing,
I would hope that, like, if they were gonna, like,
I don't think that. That's the
they're
thing.
gonna
I
do
think
it.
that's gonna have to go for this to be a possibility.
Well, will they let you run your own, like, emulators? Can you run Zemu? Can you run
Well,
a
that's the
360?
thing is, a lot of the talk in current works, let's say the ROG Ally, for example, where they use this as a point. Yeah, it's Windows. You just download whatever you want. You run it. They're Windows EXEs. That's on you. If you do something bad, that's on you. You do something good, whatever. Like it's just a computer.
Yeah,
And
you
so
have the
just think of
freedom
it that
to do
way.
it.
Yeah,
Like a Steam. What do they call the Steam box, or not Steam?
exactly. So
Like
you got,
something
but
like that.
they were called Steam boxes, but you got to think in
Yeah,
that pocket of just like it's just a computer at this point. But it's more of like, well, if I don't know what to buy and I can't build a PC myself, and maybe Xbox can help in like the engineering aspect of it, like, well, we're really good at like using these chipsets at a higher power and having good cooling and making a sort of like still think about a box in terms of temps and what's the most efficient and just trying to make a good consumer box. But it just
repackaged.
still
Yeah,
be a Windows PC at the end of the day. And
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking is unfolding. But, you know.
yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer, man. I wish, like, like I see those shorts where it's like you wake up and it's like 2009 or it's 2005. Have you seen those? Where it's
Yeah.
like some people playing Halo. Like, yeah, that's what we're actually losing, is that
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason that after the 360, I haven't. I owned a Series S, but I didn't purchase media for it in any meaningful way. I made purchases on like I had Game Pass, and that's the only reason I even played the console. I think I bought one game, Red Dead, the original, because they don't have it on PC. So it's not going to affect my. I've been out of the console ecosystem for a long time, but it still sucks. It does still suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got I canceled my Game Pass. It runs until like November 15th. That'll give me enough time to play the new Ninja Gaiden and give that a shot, see what I think. Try out. There's a few big releases. I don't know why I can't think right now, but it's more than just Outer Worlds 2. I wanted to see what that was about. There's some stuff about the drop, and I'll play them. And if I end up, basically, I'm just gonna have one final taste of what do I like, and if any of this I like and want to buy, I'll buy. And it'll give me a way to just sort of try some different stuff out. But I'm out. $30 is too much. They're not backing down. They're doubling down.
Yeah.
So they've basically stated, all right, well, then I'm not here anymore. And I
How
don't know what
much
I'd
is
do. Go ahead.
how much is GeForce Now? Do you know how much GeForce? I think on GeForce Now you
It's pretty
have
cheap.
to own the games.
Yeah. You, there's some, yes, you own the games and you add them to the library so you can stream them. But I think there's a way to add games to it, but maybe paying more or buying some sort of. There's something in between there that I'm not familiar with enough.
So it says access. So they have 3 tiers. The $100 tier for 12 months, which is less than $10 a month, is access to 4,000 plus games, ready to play,
There you
install to
go.
play
So
games.
they give you a library to
Yeah,
work from, and you can add your own on top.
own library. Okay.
Okay.
And then they have a $200 model, which is still cheaper than $30 a month. $30 a month is
It's a
$360 a
lot.
year.
It's a
Um,
lot. I
and
have to bounce.
that gives you the same access. I mean, why would you? I don't know.
Why?
You could go with
I
the
don't see
$100
anyone
one and
sticking
then do
around
PC.
with $30 a month. I mean, I know we talked about last week, but that's all. That's almost a game, dude.
Yeah.
Like at that point, you're just buying a game, and you shouldn't be playing 6 different games in a month so you can get your value. Like you trying to get your value out of $30 a month means you got to be playing all day, all night, not having a life. Like
At what point are you even?
And how many games do you jump in between? Even if you played a single game in that amount of time, you're gonna finish a 50-hour RPG in a month. I don't know. Just don't. You're not going to. It made sense. It made sense for me when I'm paying $10 because I play like 2 or 3 games a month. It works out for me, but not at this price.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I do think it's not just talk of a lot of people saying I'm bouncing, screw whatever. There's a lot of unsubs, and the majority of the conversation is it's too much, and everyone's unsubbing, and they're gonna have to just have a whole new strategy now. They're gonna be a big publisher. They're still gonna be making money based on all the games they own, right? And they got a bunch of studios and stuff, so they're good technically in that sense, but I don't know what they're gonna do in terms of what service do they run? What do they offer consumers? Or do they just drop it all and only sell games? You don't know.
Yeah. I mean, technically, Microsoft would be good if they just stopped. If they just threw that shit in the ocean and took a big ass loss, they would still be okay financially. But hopefully, hopefully they continue to look at this like it's a scene we want to be in. We want to make these games, which I think they will. Like,
I think they're gonna have to shock people with this next system. I think they're gonna have to go really outside of the norm and
need
really
something
try
crazy. Because if they just do another box, same idea, it's like, I don't know. No one's really gonna. Honestly, I can say the same.
But what do you even do?
Like, what can you do? It's like, Nintendo.
PlayStation's in the same boat in that point.
PlayStation's in the same boat. Yeah, Nintendo is the only one who's doing anything different. It's like, how many times can we keep just putting out 2 boxes that, let's be honest, they can't really improve that much more. The jumps are so incremental at this point, right? So it's like, what can you really do at this point,
Go NVIDIA, which they're not going to do. I think that would be...
They already confirmed they're going AMD with the next systems.
Yeah.
It's already confirmed.
It would be impressive. That would be at least an opportunity for there to be like a head-to-head between AMD and NVIDIA, but they're not going to do it. And that's, I'm sure that's a great thing for it's the ease of porting from one system to another. But at the same time, I don't know. They're basically just generic. Even this generation, they're generic boxes. Like even when you look at the PS4 compared to the PS5, yes, there is graphical improvements, but it's not like anything mind blowing. It's definitely nothing like PS1 to PS2 or even PS2 to PS3. It's it's almost like the PS5 is a PS4, what a PS4 Pro should have been, that same kind of incremental increase. But
I believe the rumors, which I think there's more evidence of it be more than just even rumors. I think there's some manufacturing stuff that was confirmed. But basically, PlayStation having a handheld, does that change the equation? Now is that PlayStation doing something different? Because technically they've done it a few times in the past. It just never really worked out super well for them, but it still worked out. PSP was pretty good, but it's known Nintendo handheld kind of game, but I don't know what they expect or what they do. No, the thing is, it's supposed to be a skew of the next system. So if you thought about it in the power of the power of the PS5, but the PS6 is now releasing, here's a handheld, it can play. Apparently PS4 and onward, it's all the same library going forward. So you're playing PS4, PS5 on this handheld. If a PS6 game comes out and it also releases on PS5, exactly how there's PS4 games still being released right now. If it's just a low spec game that doesn't require much might as well have a PS4 SKU because you still have 100 million on that system. You know what I mean? So they just kind of keep that same mindset. So you just have like, oh, it can play PS5, it just can't play PS6. When a new game's developed, they just have a PS5 and PS6 SKU unless the game can't. It has to be PS6 to run, and then in that case, the system doesn't run. Or they probably merge Portal to where it's like now, okay, it doesn't run natively, but it can run remotely on games that are PS6 only. And
have they said
could
if
have
they're
that
gonna
approach.
are they gonna make like specific games for the handheld, like like Vita, like Tearaway? They had all this cool tech in it. Not many games actually took advantage of it, but are they gonna?
There's
Do you think they're gonna try to
there's
do that?
not a single whisper of anything of like specific for that handheld
Yeah,
that
like
isn't.
bespoke games, bespoke handheld games.
Yeah.
That sucks. If that's all it is, they're
But
probably gonna
again, I
charge out
mean, we
the ass
don't know
for it.
officially, but there's nothing
Yeah, if
for
it can
that.
play like PS5 and PS4 games, they're probably going to charge out the ass. It'll probably be over $1,000.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like what I would consider like a, I want a successor to the PS Vita. Is
I
what I
want a
want.
literal, yeah, I want a literal handheld where it's got its own stuff. I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want ports. Like, the Switch makes sense. But if Nintendo had two systems, the last thing I would want is that second system to still be trying to run the same stuff unless it can't run it. The whole
yeah.
point of the Switch is I'm docking it, but it's a handheld.
hmm
Like, if we're gonna have a powerhouse system, no, I want that Vita and PS4. I don't want. Yes,
Yeah.
I want its own
Yeah,
things.
because the experiences that you could do on handheld, and even all the way back to the original PSP, like they had some great games that wouldn't have made sense on their
Yeah,
full
yeah.
fat
Even
console.
Metal
So
Gear Talk, right? The whole thing with Peace Walker, it's the game's designed in short bursts.
yeah,
It's mission
exactly. Yeah,
structured. It's yeah. It's like,
and that would have never been created on a normal
yeah.
console. So it's like the restrictions of the format makes these interesting
Yes. Yes.
experiences, and that's what I would want. But I think that you're probably right. They're probably going to do something, maybe not exactly like the ROG Ally, but it will be that same kind of experience where you're playing the actual console games on a
hmm
handheld.
hmm
Yeah,
And to be honest, like I let's say it all unfolds and that's what comes out. I don't think it's gonna sell that great. I
yeah,
think people, because people in a general broad audience sense would want to buy the thing that hooks to the TV. The only reason somebody's buying a handheld when you're in the Nintendo Pocket and PSP and stuff like that is because it was much cheaper and it was portable. You're giving to your kid, you can stick in your pocket. It's a whole different aspect of
yeah.
gaming and thinking. If it's just some bulky, like powerful PS5 thing, I think that's I don't even think it would sell outside of
Yeah.
just maybe I don't know, low end 10 million system when we're 4 years in, and when normally a system would be at like 50, 60, 70 million at that point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but yes, I want we got the PSP, we got the Vita, whatever the next thing you want to call it, but I want it to something. So I'll hope for that. I think Xbox is done, and I don't really have much more to say on this. But console gonna be a very different landscape now. Yes, PlayStation get more lazy now. They're gonna be able to be a lot more comfortable and still be making tons of money. And they've had in previous things that we brought on the show of like 70% of their money isn't it's all just live service stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not even like they really even have to try. So,
Yeah.
um, I hope it's not gonna happen. It's a pipe dream, but it could bring Sega back. You'd be like, maybe there's a room for a third competitor, and we get to come back.
Yeah,
and they have enough studios and teams behind it, dude. I mean, they got Atlas. Atlas is big alone, dude. They got the people who make the Total War games. They got a lot of great teams behind them, and I think they really could pour all their energy into making games for the next Sega. And don't put on anything else. You can put on PC if you want, but I would be real stingy on purpose.
Yeah, and they got the
people buying your system.
Yeah, if they were to move Football Manager, that Football Manager game, if
they
were
could
to
turn
move
that
onto
into
a
a controller
console
experience. I think they can.
Yeah, or even like the Dreamcast have a keyboard freaking peripheral,
Bring it back,
mouse.
Dude.
And then if they were to do that, there would, especially in European countries, it would sell like crazy because that would be the only place you could play it.
The excitement alone of Sega, just the novelty of it, of them coming back, gets them at least starting. You know what I mean? It still gets 30 million automatic. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And that at least gets the ball rolling.
If there was new Sega hardware, I would definitely buy it. Who's
not buying
logo.
It?
For the logo. Like, just to have it. But yeah.
So I think they got a big opportunity here if they're thinking right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they what 20 studios under them? I would say way more than that. I mean, I would say like 35, 40, right? I mean, how many Sega develop games? It's all connected, yada yada yada. You know what I fucking mean, dude. Just give me 29. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's
sounds right. That's
and
it
lot. Wouldn't have to go toe to toe with Sony in the first run. Like they could do the first run and just do like, cater to the market of, millennials.
I think you bring back the attitude like of that 90s Sega attitude of like Sega does what Nintendo don't, right? And purposely trying to bash the other sides and
I heard they were doing some of that on the.
They were actually. Sega was doing that. Yeah,
their kart race. Yeah.
Bring that energy into a new system, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because 4 is a lot, but I think 3 works. I think you can have 3 competitors. Clearly, it's been working for 30 years until Xbox just started to crap the bed, but. Yep, that's my pipe dream. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's that.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I would love to hear the argument of why they wouldn't, because I can't see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think they have a bunch of great IPs too that they haven't done anything with in a while. And if you look at like Shinobi,
Shining in the Holy Ark, about to play Shining Force 3. This Shining series is fantastic. They have that hugely popular like tactics game. That alone, that's big. I know like nerdy stuff like that, like it does sell.
Yeah, and it's not huge. You don't have to go like tentpole quadruple A.
You don't have to spend a ton of money on it. I mean, Nintendo's making a Fire Emblem. They probably spent, I don't know, 10 million on it. Something like that would be my best guess. And they're going to make hundreds.
But do the Shinobi, the Art of Vengeance. That would be a great game on a freaking Sega console. If they were to
do a 3D like Shinobi game. They did one PS2, I want to say.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. It probably won't happen. But it would be cool. It would be cool just to have Sega hardware. Yeah.
They got to go with the black too.
Yeah.
All right. Next up here, fantastic topic. A Minecraft movie sequel confirmed. So, a Minecraft movie 2 coming June 23rd, 2027. and sees the principal creative minds behind the first film returning to the fold. So it's most of the same creators of the first working on the second. I don't know. It's a new story. I don't have much to say. My kid liked it. It's not a bad movie. It's fun. Whatever.
Yeah, it made money. It made a bunch of money. I mean, that's.
I don't think they did a bad job with it. It's just lame. Period.
Yeah, it's for a different audience. Yeah, it's for a different audience. Yeah.
Yacht Club Games delayed Mina the Hollower. This was big for me. I played the demo of it, loved it, was really looking forward to this, so it stung a bit. It was scheduled to launch October 31st. Halloween, perfect time for this game. In a blog post, Yacht Club explains that despite working tirelessly to get Mina ready for launch, it says we're just not quite there yet. The studio then clarifies that the delay won't be a big one, and the team will spend this time applying additional polish, fine-tuning balancing, finalizing art and sound, and implementing localization. Which sounds a lot like what the attitude of Hollow Knight basically was having, of just like, we'll come out when we come out. It's not like shit's hitting the fan. We just want to have it as polished as possible.
Yeah, in a game like this, it needs to feel good and tight. And I think that my opinion is it's always better to delay than to release a piece of shit and then patch it later, because you only get that first impression of release one time. And then, you look at what is it, No Man's Sky. For as much as they've done, and from everything I've heard, it's a great game. In most people's mind, they remember the release.
Same with Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I go back and play that game, I'm like, man, this game's fantastic, but they ruined their moment.
They sullied. Yeah, you cannot waste that entry, because if you do, it's there's no getting that back.
All right. Next up here, let's get into this Battlefield 6 story and then bleed it into just also your thoughts on the game. But
sorry, can I just insert? I know I missed the last thing, but I just want to mention, I don't know how much you guys said about this game, but I just want to say I played the demo and I'm really excited about this game, and I'm bummed that they delayed it. But they said it's not a long delay, so hopefully not too long.
You played the demo? That's good to hear, because I did as well. So cool. I like the near the end there where you get the option of the two weapons.
Yeah. Yep.
That chain one was really fun.
That was really cool, and I love the music. I love the art style. I thought everything was cool about it. It was a lot of fun. So
they nailed, hey, here's a Game Boy Color game in 2020.
Yeah. Yep.
They did a fantastic job.
Very cool game. So I'm excited for when it drops.
All right, Battlefield 6. Get into the story, Eddie, and then just get into just your thoughts in general.
Yeah, so EA's long-awaited, heavily hyped Battlefield 6 is finally out. It looks like within the first 30 minutes of public availability, it exceeded 500,000 concurrent users. So you'd have to assume that most of that is pre-orders. So the don't pre-order gang probably failed. But to be fair, the beta was really good. I didn't pre-order it. Like I said, I was firmly in, like, I'm not giving EA anything on site, on spec anymore. So, but they had a massive launch. The game. So I've been playing it since the second day. So it came out on the 10th. I got it on the 11th. And I mean, so just my gripes, because overall I think the game it's great. It's what they needed to do. They kind of put the whole perform, instead of going for like the best visuals and the best, which I think you can have both, and there's been games in the past where they had both, but in this case they really needed to focus on, okay, what do Battlefield players like? And they really did a great job of focusing on that. But my gripes, the map. So I played the shit out of the beta. I played the beta. I unlocked everything. Probably put like seriously probably 25 to 30 hours in that those 2 weekends that they had. I played it. Me and my friend Dino, we basically grinded the shit out of that. And the maps that they released in conjunction with the ones that were in the beta, several of them feel like basically like expansions of those maps. So like there's a New York, I think there's 2 or maybe 3 New York maps. I think 2. And they had one in the beta. The second one, even though it's a completely different layout, completely different play, it still feels like that. So in my brain, it's just there's not a lot of right now. There's not a lot of variety on the map side. They did bring back Battlefield 3 maps, which is really, I think, the best map in the game. They all the like the first appearance maps are on the smaller side, and I mean, from what I've
The
heard,
Battlefield 3 map. What map?
I
The
think it's
city with the
Kirkland.
towers.
No. It's hold on. It's not that. It
Kirkland.
is,
Kirkland
yeah, it's one of the
actually.
desert maps. Operation Firestorm. Operation Firestorm. And they even reduced the size of this, not too much, but they did reduce the size of it. And it's honestly one of my favorite maps. Like you have plenty of room for like anti-air to where you can, like when you're playing anti-air like armor, like a tank, there's a very specific, you don't want to get all up in the guts of the map because you're going to get taken out super fast. So you want to stay close enough to where you can have an effect on helicopters and jets, but far out enough to where you're not getting surrounded by infantry that are, blowing you up. It's big enough to sustain that. Now some of the other outdoor, like big, expansive, not big, I'd say they're like medium sized maps in comparison to some of the stuff that's been previously in there. They're just not, they're not nearly as big. Or I think that now I've heard that they're coming out with new maps by the end of the month, 2 new maps at least. And then there's been leaks that they're working on naval warfare, which is awesome.
Cool.
I've always loved the naval, their naval expansions. So they are working on post-release content. But that's my main gripe is that I think there's like 9 maps, which is average for Battlefield on a release. They just don't. I don't know. That I wish they would have had at least one like big big map, first appearance map.
I hate going
Operation
this far
Firestorm.
back, but Battlefield 2, I still just have the best of memories on because you are getting in a vehicle and driving for such a long time
Yeah,
to all these different
Battlefield 2.
points. And,
Yeah, and just the bones of that game, people still play that to this day. They play modded versions, Project Reality, because the bones of the game was built on this like massive, almost Arma level, or especially early Arma level expansiveness. And they're definitely
they
not
need
going.
at least one that size for me to
Yeah,
like be the happiest I could be, I guess, in terms of a map with Battlefield.
yeah, and from what I've heard, their thought process was like when they did 2042, they did have some huge freaking maps where you're just running and running, nothing's happening. You're running and running. They wanted to have it to where no matter what flag you spawn on, no matter where you spawn on the battlefield, you're within a minute of a firefight. So, I mean, I get that, and you know, that's not a bad
I
idea,
don't
but it almost
know.
it.
Can you
I,
just give us the option at least then? We know
yeah,
what we're getting into when we choose a big map like that we won't have to interact so often.
yeah. And so I mean I think it's all, there's nothing in the engine that I can tell that will prevent larger maps. Like I said, Firestorm, I would like to see one bigger than it even, but it's not, there's no reason why they couldn't expand on that, something bigger than that. As far as the actual gameplay goes, they definitely got some, for early bugs like the some of the progression tracking isn't track. Like say they got these challenges that you can go through, and one like 2 or 3 of them don't track, like or they do track in some game modes and not all the time. So that's super frustrating because like when you're doing these, I think initially the one that they had messed up, it was 5,000 heal with the supply bag, 5,000 points. But it's not, for a lot of people, it's not tracking at all. It just stays at 0 no matter what. And so they definitely got stuff like that that they need to fix on the first patch, hopefully soon, because that is what Battlefield is going through these challenges, getting XP, upgrading your weapons. There's been a lot of complaints about the progression in this one being super slow, being grindy, which I do think it's a little on the long side. But I mean, I think right now they got a good collection of gadgets and weapons. Like they added a ladder, they added a bunch of launchers compared to what they had in the beta anyway. I mean, I haven't been bothered by it, but apparently there's been people who have been like using up all their, and I use them up anyway because if you're playing the XP bonuses and everything, which is what you get for completing those challenges. And since the challenges are bugged, then you can't get all your damn XP boost, which, that's dice shit. It seems like they always have something like this.
What's an example of like a challenge?
So like, okay, the one that I wish I could complete is drag 15. It's like drag 10 or 15 members to safety while reviving them, and then heal off the supply bag a certain number of points. So the certain like say you could throw the supply bag. I've gotten points somehow, and I think it was when I was playing Rush. So I was like, "Oh, I figured it out. Just play Rush, and I can finish it." But you can't. I went back and played Rush, and it wasn't working. One thing that I've heard is that if you get on like a private, like an empty server, and have your friend join you, they can jump down, take fall damage, and then you can throw it. They have to go up to the bag.
So it's clearly well known, and you would think this would be fixed soon.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Yeah, it's one of the big things. Yeah, they have to fix it. One of the cool things that they added that wasn't in the beta. So you know how there were all the memes about the sniper glints. You could see like you would on certain maps, it would just be like 50 sniper glints at once. So they still have the sniper glint, but depending on what rifle you're using, it comes in, and maybe even the scope, but it comes in at different points. So when you are inside so they went back to Battlefield 1, not the original Battlefield, but Battlefield 1, the World War I version. They went back to where the sniper rifles have sweet spots, to where with a specific rifle, like say you're within 75 yards to 150 yards, you can get a one-hit torso kill. Okay. When you are in that range, the sniper glint has like a corona effect where it's like you can see like a rainbow kind of around around the scope, and it tells you that you are in like extremely lethal range. Like if they hit you in the torso, you're one hit kill. So you're basically super pinned down. It's a way of communicating the threat. That I think is a really nice touch, something new that they've never done before. And it works really good because if you can get inside that range or outside of that range, they have to headshot you, or they're not going to get a one-hit kill.
I like that.
Yeah, but as far as I've been playing the shit out of it. I've been playing it every day. I finished the game I was playing previous to this, like right before it came out. So I've just been trying to unlock stuff. But I mean, they've done a really good job of focusing on the simple stuff. There's nothing crazy as far as graphics. Like some of the textures are downright, not a lot of them, but like if you're in a vehicle, like a normal Jeep, or it's not a Jeep, but whatever their Jeep equivalent is, and you're in the back seat, the damn back headrest of the thing is like literally a pixelated mess. Like it just looks like, I don't think they did no effort on it at all, which I don't mind. And I mean, maybe it's a way that they're optimizing it. Like, hey, let's not spend a shit ton of texture and detail on these things that don't matter, and then focus on the others. Because that's the only thing I've noticed. And the game runs. I mean, it runs great on as
It does
far
run
as
good. Yeah.
yeah. What you were talking about last time we spoke about it, the visibility on the New York maps, it's still there's areas you get in there. And dude, it's now you do the flashlights are excellent. I'll say that. So not only are they good at illuminating the space, but they blind the fuck out of you if you get shown with one. Like
Cool.
so you get an idea of where they're at, but it is a blinding, like disorienting effect. So on those darker maps, that's one thing you can do.
Dang, that
I
would
would
be
still
fun.
like
Flashlight and
yeah,
shotgun and like
yeah,
popping around corners.
yeah. Dude, I mean it's actually pretty effective.
Cool.
But it would still be nice to have that baseline visibility bumped up a little bit on those New York maps, because that's where it really you can get into some of those like shut down shops, and you run in there, you'll run right by a guy, and he's just like boom, like shoots you from the back. That does not feel good. But you know, other than that, I've had a great time with it, and I'm super happy that it looks like the community is gonna, because this is the thing on the ones that on the battlefields that have failed. The only reason they failed, in my opinion, is that EA felt it wasn't worth it to keep releasing content. Battlefield 5 was in my opinion, I love the game, but nobody was playing it, so EA was like, they released a couple expansions for it, and they're like, yeah, we're done. And then so instead of having like Battlefield 4 where you had like 8 huge expansions over a couple year period, you got 3 or 4 expansions and the game was dead. That is I don't think there's a danger, at least right now. Shit, they could completely shit the bed and do something that pisses everybody off. But right now, I think there's enough money in it for EA to justify, like, hey, we're gonna release 20 or 30 maps by the time this game is over, or you know, this equivalent amount of weapons and expansions. So I'm hoping that this early success buys it the longevity that the last couple games have not had. Like 2042, they had, you know, I think their expansions would be like one map. They would have one map, and it would be a good map. But it's like, what the like? It's not what you're used to. Going all the way back to even Battlefield 2, a Bad Company 2, 3. They all had these really impressive DLC packages that would reintroduce entirely new experiences. Like Battlefield 3 had nighttime maps where everybody had infrareds and night visions, and just even Battlefield 1 had the expansion where it was mostly like torpedo boats and destroyers and shit. Like that is what you hope to see come out later, and that's where I think it really forms its true identity, is with the expansions later on. But there's a lot of people playing, so maybe this could be one of the, you know, if the numbers keep up, it could potentially be one of the one with the most content created for it, as long as people keep playing it, and there's a reason for them to do it.
One last thing about Battlefield. I don't think it matters much. I really don't, but it must be mentioned. The campaign.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that IGN.
Crap.
Yeah, I love that IGN split their review up into 2 pieces, and then they had a Battlefield 6 review campaign, and they gave it a 5, and it was just like, why don't you just? It's not that big of a campaign. Just do it all at once. Take that into account. They ended up giving the online component an 8, which I guess that would average around like to a 7. But yes, I've heard I didn't even install the campaign.
Oh, so it's a separate install. I didn't know.
Yeah, you can choose not to install it. It saves you about 20 gigabytes.
Okay.
So I was just like, I'm not, my buddy Dino, he played it and he was like, it's all right. And I was like, well, I'm not really interested in it. But, you do get some special skins and shit like that if you complete the campaign. So it may be worth it if you're into that kind of thing, to run through it just for that. But yeah, I've heard it's nothing special. It's super generic. There's not, no big wow moments in it at all.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Because I remember Battlefield I think it was Battlefield 1 that I played. If I'm thinking of the right one, it had like some vignettes and stuff, and it was cool. It had like some cool moments. Like I remember it had some pretty wow moments. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like it had like little individual stories.
Battlefield 1 had one of the best campaigns because it goes to these individual theaters. You learn the story of the person you're fighting, like you know where they came from, you know the last thing they said to their parents, and then you watch them ultimately die in a fucking hail of fire. There was one where the guy was like, I may be misremembering. He had like a gardening job or something when he was before the war, and then during the war he's like fucking walking around with a flamethrower like flaming people to death, but still like he's basically doing manual labor, just instead of killing weeds and shit he's torching humans to death. That juxtaposition between the what wartime does to humans turns them into fucking murderous animals. It made you think, because you got to know what that, but this is not that. This is not that. So
I've heard a lot of takes not liking the campaign, or at best it would just be it was okay.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of
yeah, but I honestly feel like
I'm not buying the game for it. If I'm getting Battlefield 6, I'm playing the multiplayer, and I just kind of like, I may or may not give it a shot, whatever. I kind of just, it doesn't matter to me too much, but.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool if there was like, I don't know, like speed.
Like if there was a good one, it'd be cool that if there was, I've enjoyed some past Battlefields that are pretty neat. I liked Battlefield 4's campaign. I thought it was neat.
One thing that I hope they do bring back from Battlefield 1 that's almost like a campaign, but it's a multiplayer set mode, or I forget what it's called, but basically they would have like 4 or 5 maps that are all in the same region, and you would have one match that would be on the first map. Whoever won that, like say if the defenders won, you would play on that map again. But if the attackers won, you would go deeper inland, like you're making a push actually on the map. So you go, and while you're on the first map, off in the distance, you can see the second map's structures. Like say if it's got a big church, you can see it off in the distance. So you win that, you're the attacker, you win the first match, and that tells a story in between each match. It says, the Allies, whether you're adhering to history or not, it still tells you what happened in the actual, in your battle. But that was something that was cool, where it told a story, but it was still multiplayer, and it was one of my favorite modes. Operations is what it was called.
Okay.
So that'd be cool if they brought that in, if they brought that back as well. But yeah, the campaign, it's almost like for this, it was like a checkbox, like, hey, we got a campaign. Stop bitching at us, because I don't think 2042 had a campaign. They just released it. Yeah, they released it multiplayer only.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah. So I played I think 110 hours into it.
Wow.
And I didn't get all of it done because there's a second one that I'm like trying to get to. Initially when I started playing it, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stick to the story and get through this to get the second one, because everything I've heard is that 2 is, just mechanically overall it's a better game.
Better experience.
Yeah, but I played so much of 1 now that when I get into 2, I'm like pissed off that it's not. There's things that they changed, and I'm like, this is fucking. Why would you change it? The other one, like I've gotten used to this, to like the combat mechanics are slightly changed. And I was a fucking boss, dude. I was shoving motherfuckers in the corner and stabbing them. Like when you first start, you're nothing, dude. You get dollywopped. Like you don't even know how to hold your sword, basically. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, and the story is great. The progression, the characters, everything it's like I was saying, it's one of the best Western RPGs that I've ever played. But the progression of what you feel like going into those last battles, like I went into alchemy, so I was like drinking these fucking potions that would make me drunk, but also make me like really badass. So I'm like swaying over the battlefield and just killing the shit out of all these people, and it really gives you a really good sense of like, hey, I started here, I'm ending here. The only thing is that when you start Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I haven't even gotten through the first little, it's basically a vertical slice. It's reteaching you everything over again. You lose, it feels like you lose all of it. Like they're teaching you how to do sword fighting again, which I guess you have to because there's a lot of people who start with 2 and you can't,
But it feels very different in gameplay.
It's still the same engine, but in some big ways, like the way that you access your inventory, which to me is like muscle memory at this point after doing 100 plus hours. And it's like, yeah, it looks nicer as far as like the way that they organize and everything, but there was nothing wrong with the previous one. But there's just to touch on the first one, like some of the things you can do, like most of the time in RPGs, the alchemy will be, like in Skyrim, you got the retort, the mortar and pestle. You get these certain ones, and as you play the game, you get those, and you find better version of those, and then it's essentially just mixing. You get like 4 boxes, and you put like, okay, here's some dandelion, and here's and then it mixes it. In this, especially when you first start out, you have to hand make each potion. So like you might have a mortar and pestle, you have to grab it out of the bag, put it in there, your guy picks it up. If the recipe calls for it, you have to grind it up because not all recipes do. Some recipes you need oil, some recipes you need water as a base. Spirits, like I guess it's vodka you're using. So depending on what the potion is, it was the most immersive alchemy system that I've ever, like, I've played games that are dedicated to just alchemy, and it did a better job on that. They have like a tournament in the main city, Ratai, where you can, if you want, this is what I did because I'm like trying to rebuild a whole city, and it's a piece of DLC, and you need a shit ton of money for it. So what I would do is go to the city the night before the tournament, sneak to where all the tournament people were, and they have like badass gear. And I would go in there and knock them out while they were asleep, take all their shit, sell it to a fence, like a guy who buys stolen goods, and then I just accumulate money. And then when you go and join the tournament, they're all basically naked. They're like wearing their underwear, and you just stab, like, and so you win the tournament too. Like, yeah, it is technically an exploit, but it's like a realistic. You could theoretically see that happening. It's got TNA in it. There's sex scenes, and it's not overt. Like it's the ones that they do, I would say, are tasteful. But yeah, like the one thing that I really liked is like, so there's these certain missions, or I guess like quest, where you're at you go to like a tavern, and there's one specifically where you're drinking with a priest, and it is one of the most. It's like you actually had that night, like you were really out there getting fucked up, fucking ringing the bell in the middle of the night. Like it's just stupid, like you're doing shenanigans and shit. But when you look back, like you go back to that city and you're like trying to get more of that, but it doesn't give it to you. But it's just a testament for how good that first experience was. You end up like waking up in the like crack of dawn, and you're both like hungover as shit watching the sunrise. It's they really nailed the presentation of the era. If you ever have 100 hours to blow, or even if you just want to like fuck around with it and just see what it's about, it's on. I got both of them in my Steam library. It's definitely got some of that Euro jank to it. But once you get into it, man, you are immersed. Like you're out there picking flowers and shit, and then you're going to give your lady a bouquet, and then like I said, I started out thinking I was just going to blow through it. Like, hey, I think I saw where you could get through the main thing. You could probably get through the main campaign in like 15 or 20 hours. It would be difficult, just because you're going to be so under leveled, but at the same time, it's doable. but it just sucks you. It sucked me in, dude. And I'm hoping KCD 2 will do the same. Which, from everything I've heard, it's a better experience. It's just right now, I guess, because it's so soon after finishing the first one, I almost feel like, you know, I wish they would have just kept it same thing, because the first one ends on a cliffhanger. You're basically, your status in life has grown significantly from where you start. I won't get into the story or anything, but you're basically going from, worried about your little refugee friends, to, at the end, you are like involved in the like the machination, the entire Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire. Like, there's major shit happening. You're involved in that. So,
Okay.
so the second one is going to be, I would assume, it's going to be more of
You're in the
that
midst
side
of all
of it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
just, yeah. I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, you don't have to play one. You don't have to play one." I would say play fucking one, dude. It is awesome, man. It is an awesome game. As far as like I said, Western RPG goes, as I've gotten older, it's harder for me to get into those games, because it's just such a time investment. But this one, just because, and part of it is the accuracy of it. Like, it's not like there's no fantasy. You're just a fucking peasant. You're like, they did a really good job of reconstructing the cities. Like, a lot of the cities that are in the game have they have modern. They're still around, and they've preserved their historical districts to where you can see, like, this is where the church has been there since the 1400s, and you can see the footpaths, and they did a great job of researching that. So it's
What year does this game take place in?
Early, right?
It's the 1400s. It's like 1460, I think.
Okay.
But everybody who's in it is a historic. Not everybody. The main players are historical they're historical characters. Like, your dad is a actual, which you're a bastard. You don't know that he's your dad until later on, but he is a actual, like, just and it's not like he's anybody famous. He's just, if you go back in the history of Bohemia, there's a freaking Radzig there, and he was a lord of that sided on the side of Sigismund. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's you get a lot of just to one other thing, like, they talk about this Jans, who was this he's basically like kind of like a Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther,
Yep.
the original Martin Luther figure, as far as he was protesting against the way the Catholic Church was conducting their business. There ends up, years later, your guy's probably already dead by the time this occurs, but like 100 years later, there's a fucking huge war fought over this guy's preachings, because it's basically like a Protestant movement. They're in protest of the way the existing Catholic Church was selling it. And they go into, because at the time that your character's alive, that dude is alive. He's in Prague, he's preaching, and one of the preachers that you get shit faced with, he's like all for him. He's getting drunk and getting all pissed off and telling you you're getting into the politics of the actual Catholic Church, which is stuff like that really, for me, like, I love history. It sucks you right in, man. But yeah, it's a great experience from a European. Like I said, it's got that Eurojank feel, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but some people may not like it. But yeah, it's an awesome game, man.
That's dope. And and to hear that there's 2 games of this series, I mean, God,
yeah, there's going to be a third one. They're making the third one now, and the third one, I think, is going to be it's going to wrap it up.
I mean, ever since this game came out, I've always been like, yeah, I need to play that. And
I've always been on the fence about it.
I always feel I will, but
I've always heard that the first one is very much like this game is like a diamond in the rough, but it's got a lot of dirt on it, Like, it's got so much potential, but there's so many problems with it. And then I hear the second one really took it like, okay, we really fixed this game up. This game is like realized its potential a lot. You know, if I ever play these games, I'm not skipping the first one. Like I want to experience the first game with all its problems and all, and then get the experience of the second one fixed up. You know, so
yeah. And I heard the same thing, and I'm telling you, like the first one for all whatever, like I can't even like now. I'm sure there's some things that piss me off or like bugs of broken Quest, but not enough to where my overall sentiment afterwards is just like, dude, it was a great experience as far as those type of games go. But
Very
but
cool.
yeah, like I said, you could probably burn through it, but more than likely you'll find some activity or side thing that you really like. Dude, your guy's basically like a medieval CIA character, and not in like a cheesy way. Like you're trying to get shit done for your liege lord, and it puts you in situations where you might have to break the law. You might have to murder some fucking people that, you know, he would not agree with you murdering, but you do it anyway.
It helps the greater good in the end.
Yeah, and it gives you the option to go tell the guy, like, "Hey, I'm being asked to do this," and he's.
I assume you can kind of. There's a lot of freedom in whatever you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can be a goody two shoes, even to a point where you're actually an evil goody two shoes. You're ratting on people that you grew up with because they're not living their life up to your standard. But yeah, or you can be a fucking damn near bandit. Yeah, but yeah, it's a
cool.
Great experience, man.
All right.
Well, you play anything other than Hollow Knight Silksong that you want to speak on?
I downloaded Little Nightmares 3, and I have it ready to go. However, I found this YouTuber who's like, he's only got like 12K subscribers, like a smaller YouTuber, but he did from what I can tell, an awesome really cool, like comprehensive video on Little Nightmares 1, 2, the mobile spinoff, the comics. Like he did like a whole thing. People are really into their Little Nightmares like coverage. Like the people who cover those games are like really into their stuff. They like do deep dives in the lore and all this stuff. So I've been watching that. It's like a 3-hour video, but it's cool. He like really got into it. He's pretending that he's like sitting in this you know, the place that Little Nightmares takes place in is called like Nowhere. He's like pretending he's like in Nowhere and there's stuff going on. He's doing like a role play thing, you know, as he's like explaining the whole lore of it. It's really cool. Yeah, instead of doing like here's Little Nightmares 1 in 5 minutes, you know, I'm like opting for the whole thing, you know. So I'm watching all of that, and then I'm gonna try number 3. I'm a bit worried though because it's a new developer. The people that did the first 2, they just nailed it so well, especially number 2. Number 2, in my opinion, was like a top tier game. So I'm hearing 3 just doesn't really reach those heights, but I'm still going to play it. Still going to see what I think. So I think when I'm done with that video, I'm going to either be done with Hollow Knight or I'll take a short break from Hollow Knight because it's only like a 5 or 6 hour game. So yeah. But other than that, man, I've just been Hollow Knight all day. So yeah. Nothing else new, and I still got Death Stranding 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 on deck. So 2 great games to get to afterwards. So,
man, there's so much right now. It's a problem.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I'm still playing Trials in the Sky, the first chapter. I don't have much to say. It's a long game. I think they pull it off super well though. And then I've been playing like getting back into Saturn stuff because I'm trying to finish, and I've explained this a few times, but I'm trying to finish this Shining in the Holy Ark, which I'm 50 hours in, and it's still going, and I'm in the second to last dungeon of, and it's like a bit where I had to get 3 stones, walk into this mural. The mural's like this whole other land that I don't know if it's a parallel universe or what, but it's like this whole other land that it's like in a desert setting, but time is like stand still, and it's been staying still for close to 1,000 years. The 1,000-year mark is like literally just now happening, and so I guess that's when it was last alive. But there's an event that takes place every 1,000 years in this place, and so I'm about to see what that unfolds. But when I get into this desert, talk to all these people in the town, got to figure out this weird crazy puzzle that then opens up this huge, you know, pyramid tower thing that I literally just got inside of, saved and quit last night, and this dungeon's a doozy. I saw the map and I'm just like, oh my god, son. Many floors, and these dungeons are really fun though. It's a dungeon crawler game, so you think like it can go upside down, it can get very deep into its puzzles, so trying to figure out how to get to this room, that room, whatever. And I'm playing this game a ton, and I'm getting close to the end, and the story and all of it bleeds into Shining Force 3, and I'm playing. There's 3 chapters of that. One for is literally 3 different games. Think of like the Fire Emblem Fates, I think is what it's called, where you have like 2 or 3 different versions of it from different perspectives. But anyway, so then I'm gonna play through all that Shining Force 3 stuff, and then once that's done, then it goes into Golden Sun, and then that's where Camelot ends its RPG. That I think they've done phenomenal, because like Shining Force 1 and 2 being on like the Genesis, and then there was a bit of a lull there, and then they came out with quite a banger of what I just listed, and then now they just kind of, I don't know, make Mario sports games, which is cool and all, but I don't know why. I really want a RPG game back from them again, pretty badly, especially because I'm just love. This game is so fantastic. And then I started it just only for that purpose, but what I'm finding out is like I've never been into a dungeon crawler game. I just didn't want to miss the story. And so now I'm like, man, this is the first one I've genuinely liked. And I tried a ton, like Etrian Odyssey series, there's a few in there I've tried. But there's like Persona Q, was like dungeon crawler. Never once have actually like played more than like 2 hours and been like, all right, I can't do this. But this one I'm really loving, and it's more of just because I love the characters and atmosphere, and just it has that like that vibe of like when you're playing Dragon Quest, of it just feeling very good to the soul as you play. I love the music and the way everything looks and all that. I love the art aesthetic behind them. So, anyway, super loving that, and I'm getting close to being done, and I'm about to start this whole Shining Force 3 that's going to be many hours of, you're talking 30, 40 hours a piece of like 3 different games. So, I don't know, but I've always wanted to do it, so I'm doing it. And then I have poured 20 hours into Rocksmith, which isn't really much of a game, but kind of. Do y'all know what Rocksmith is?
Nope. I've seen it.
So it's basically Rock Band, but with a real guitar. And I think it's clocked in at like 15 hours on Steam. And I have, I think, close to 1,000 tracks downloaded, because I got it all set up to where I can like load in custom songs. And gotten a few tracks that I bought, and I don't know, I picked up a guitar about 2 weeks ago, never played in my life outside of like a few months when I was like a teenager, and so I'm very fresh to it all, and it's destroying my fingers. My fingers are so sore, and they hurt so bad. Oh my god. And especially trying to play like chords to where like I'm having to bend my fingers in such very weird ways. But I'm surprised at how quick my fingers are adjusting, in the sense of not just being able to put them in weird spots I couldn't even a few days ago, but the pain is, I'm getting used to it, to where it's not hurting so much.
Your fingers callus up. It'll get to where it like has you'll even be able to make better contact. You just got to get those calluses, get the skin toughened up.
Yeah, you got to break them in.
Get rid of those soft hands. Soft hand. No, but yeah, that's definitely.
It's a great learning experience though, and I'm going in like with the mindset of like, I'm very dedicated to this, and I'm pouring a lot of time into it. I'm genuinely trying to learn. That's
cool.
And I feel even in these last 2 weeks of day 3 compared to day 10 is a big difference. And a lot of people they didn't have the tools we have nowadays, even just YouTube videos and stuff. But this Rocksmith has been a huge help.
Yeah,
and it just has a lot of
learning
lessons
process.
in it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's got to be super useful because like you said, having YouTube and all that, like that's great, but I think when you gamify it, it gives you a lot more longevity in your sessions because you're trying to achieve something versus sitting
I'm
there
trying to
and
get a high score, and on top of that, I'm also learning something that I can take to other places. So I feel like games, the whole reason I'm playing because I like the progression of playing a game. So
yeah,
getting that in a real life instrument and still getting the video game progression, it's like a win-win, and it
yeah,
just does all the right things for me to where like I'm addicted actually. Like I'm playing it constantly and I'm really into it, and I'm catching myself at like midnight 1 a.m. being like, all right, I gotta go to bed, but I'm like, oh, I want to go one more time. I feel I can do a little better,
yeah.
and
That's
so
awesome.
it's been really good.
Very nice, very nice.
Playing some Creed, playing some Blade, playing some I don't know, all over the place of stuff. I'm downloading. I don't know, random, even like Tyler the Creator tracks or Kid Cudi stuff to playing like a random, just like asking Alexandria or something. I've downloaded
Nice.
so much, but that's the thing is like you can still play whatever because it will make it incredibly easy for you at first, and it has like an adaptability
Okay, that's
difficulty to
cool.
where like the more notes you hit, then the more notes you can go. So it'll keep adding more and more as you go, and then like as you're missing, as you're hitting, whatever, and it just finds like a really nice balance for you where it tries to technically put you up to the next level, but the next level could be like instead of playing 4% of the song, you're playing 8% of the song. Instead of playing 8, you're playing 12% of the song, and it just throws a little more and more and more to where like I've gotten a few tracks to where I can play like 26% of the song, but it started me at like 4%. But on other tracks, 8% of that track is already way too hard. So it's really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Mm,
That's what's up.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
we'll get
you'll get really
into
good at it.
new game watch and we'll get out of here. Ball X Pit, all platforms, October 15th. Cuff Bust, PC, October 15th. Hitman Absolution, iOS and Android, October 16th. But Hitman Absolution, was that the game I think it is? Because I think this is weirdly my favorite Hitman game. And because I want to say it came out like PS3 360 era. It
Is it
is.
the one with the new
I
one?
really
That
like
one?
this one, and I remember people. It was usually the game to where like, oh, Hitman's hitting its lull. We're kind of over it. We need something fresh. And then
Oh
whenever
yeah.
Hitman like came back out with like Hitman 1, 2, and 3 of the current games, it boomed again. But I really loved Absolution, like a lot, and a lot of people overlooked it. Anyway, I don't know, iOS and Android, very interesting, but I think this game's fantastic, and it kind of makes me want to see what the hell it would be, because it's not complicated controls. It's more about just being sneaky and get behind. It's more about the tactics involved and stuff. So playing on
Yeah.
a phone, that really ain't gonna matter in a game like this. So I'm kind of curious. Anyway, I want to give that a shot. Pokemon Z and A, October 16th. So tomorrow of this recording, that's when it comes out. The reviews are already out. It's at an 80 in Metacritic, which is a little better than what I was expecting, but there's a lot of big publishers and stuff that have yet to post a review. So it may go down a lot. But of what's out there, it's looking okay. Some sevens, some eights, some sixes kind of thing. But they're saying a lot of stuff that I was worried about, of just being like, well, it's all just in one city. You don't get to
Mm.
explore new environments, yada yada. And I think I've mentioned that time and time again of really being a little worried about that. But like Nintendo Life here puts, yeah, it's fabulous real-time combat and largely smooth jump to Switch 2, but in condensing things down to one single location, it loses part of the Pokemon magic that many other entries amplified, like trying to fill your Pokedex, trying to find new locations, all that sort of stuff, exploring around. And that was my worry. And it's like, it just doesn't seem appealing to me to be stuck in one city. And it's a side series, so I doubt I'm going to play it. But
I might skip that for now, yeah.
there's that. I don't know. Keeper, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, October 17th. Oh, I want to say, before recording though, I have played and beaten every mainline Pokemon game, and it's going to be something that I will do regardless of how crap the game is. Okay. I will consider this an exception because this is a side series.
A side story, yeah. Not a mainline.
But I do want to keep that tradition going. Anyway, Keeper, all platforms but Switch, October 17th. Lumo 2, all platforms, October 17th. Illa, A Frosty Glide, all platforms, October 20th. Ninja Gaiden 4, I will be playing this October 20th. Again, one of the last Game Pass things I'll be indulging in. I hope it's good. I actually love all three Ninja Gaiden 3D platformers. They're very good. Jurassic World Evolution 3, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, October 21st. Painkiller, PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, October 21st. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This is a big one coming out. It's been delayed 5 trillion times, but I guess it's finally coming out. October 21st, all platforms but Switch. Dispatch, PS5, PC, October 22nd. Toem. Is this what?
That's that. I think I've heard of this one. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is the black and white game. Yeah, I've seen this.
Okay, I haven't played this.
It's a little weird game. Yeah, nothing.
Okay, but just the name, I don't know. It's ringing a bell, but Angry Video Game Nerd 8-bit. Wasn't there an Angry Video Game? It says there's a new one or something, because I swear there was an Angry Video Game Nerd game that I played. It was whatever. Anyway, all platforms, October 23rd. Bounty Star, all platforms but Switch, October 23rd. Double Dragon Revive. I looked this up. You know, I like Double Dragon 2 on NES, but dear God, I swear every game sucks complete ass. And I looked this up. It looks terrible. Oh, what the hell? Not on Switch, October 23rd, all platforms but that. Godbreakers, PS5, PC, October 23rd. Moonlighter 2. The first Moonlighter is pretty good. Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault, early access is PC, October 23rd. Persona 3 Reload. Now, I never bought this game. I was playing it through Game Pass. I'm done with Game Pass. Like I said, I didn't play it too much anyway. But this is my favorite Persona game, and I do want to play this whenever I get the time. So I'm going to pick it up on Switch too, for sure. But yeah, October 23rd, that drops. And Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. I'm going to pick this up. I think it's real cheap. And it's just a remake of the OG. And the OG is great. All platforms, October 23rd. Power Wash Simulator 2. All platforms, including Switch 2. That'd be a very good Switch 2 game. October 23rd. Jackbox Party Pack 11. October 23rd. All platforms. I'm a big Jackbox dude. The Lonesome Guild, all platforms but Switch, October 23rd. New Chicken Run, wild. Chicken Run Extraction, all platforms, October 24th. I'm sure it's crap. Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed, all platforms, October 24th. Melee's, October 24th for PC. Once Upon a Katamari, new one coming out. This isn't a remake. This is a new Katamari. All platforms, October 24th. House of the Dead 2 remake. This is big. I want to play the first one as well. They did that, I think, last year. But I think this would be good on Switch, and I'm not seeing that it's releasing on Switch. Hopefully it comes out later then or something, because I want the whole, I want light gun experience. And if you play on Switch, you can just use Joy-Con. That'd be good enough for me. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, iOS October 28th, Death by Scrolling. That's what Eddie was doing when he was sick. Comes out PC October 28th. Duet Night Abyss, PC, iOS, Android October 28th. Inmost, iOS, Android October 28th. 2 Point Museum, Switch 2. I've never played any of these 2 Point anythings. Like, there's 2 Point Campus and stuff like that.
Yeah, I played 2 Point Hospital. It was pretty good. But you got to be, it's like a management game. You're upgrading.
It's a sim game where you're managing whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
They look good. Anyway, Switch 2 October 28th. The Outer Worlds 2. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC October 29th. I'll be checking that out as well before my Game Pass ends. Anything more y'all want to say on? A lot of stuff coming out.
I'm just excited to. I'm loving Hollow Knight, and it's been a freaking blast. But I'm excited to start playing other games again.
I just want one of y'all to play Metal Gear 3.
I'm gonna play. That's my plan to play that next after Hollow Knight, because I figure it won't take me really anywhere near as long as Death Stranding. I don't think so.
That's the thing. Like Death Stranding, you could mainline it, but who the hell wants to?
No way.
Yeah.
I'm actively in Hollow Knight. I'm actively.
I've done so much
to
crap in Death Stranding 2. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And it's been great. So no, I'm not gonna mainline that. So yeah, you should do 3 first.
Yep.
I'm still playing 4, by the way. I'm about to beat it. Yeah, I mean, I do think I was wondering because I haven't played it since it came out, and I'm like, where do I set all the games in this series and all that? And now I'm about to beat it. I'm rethinking it all, and I play through them all. Before we leave, I'll just rank them now. Let me think here. I'm trying my best not to have nostalgia, but that's maybe that's impossible.
Are we just ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's it?
Yeah. Don't worry about anything else.
If you want, I mean, I feel like I can do mine easier because I'm not as invested as you are. Maybe. I feel like I would.
Did you beat 5?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I would still put 3 at the top. I feel like that's never going to change. I absolutely love that game. And remember, I'm not just weighing.
I see why. I didn't see why till now, but now I can finally concede to where, okay, if somebody puts it at the top, they're not a complete idiot like I originally thought.
And remember, this list is not which one's objectively the best. It's which one I like the most, right? Because these games are so.
Well, let's word it in the sense of what do you think is better or worse? Not let's just try not favorites, but let's say anyone were coming in for the first time and they were playing it for the first time. What's the best in order of?
Okay, so
you're starting and ending, and you've never played any of them.
So this is a total objective list, then, right? This is for everyone.
You got to think of gameplay. You got to think of characters. You got to think of environments, but don't think in the sense of for its time it did this really well.
Sure. Okay. So in that case, can I include the 3 remake then? Is that fair?
Yeah.
To include then in the case of 3. Okay. So if that's the case, then I'm still putting 3 at the top because the only thing I had wrong with 3 was that it was just really dated. The gameplay, the
gameplay was pretty crap originally. PS2. Frame rate was terrible. Controls were pretty terrible.
Okay. So I'll
I think the new version plays phenomenal. I think they fixed all that went away. I do agree. I do think that.
So I'll put 3 at the top. I'd probably put number 5 behind it, honestly, because I thought that game was freaking incredible. I don't think it had the best story or anything. The story was fine. I liked it, but it didn't stand out to me compared to the others. But man, the game was so much freaking fun to play. It was just it just shot to the top for me. Then honestly, I'd probably put 1 because that was totally incredible. And then I'd probably put, man, it's hard. I know people are probably yelling at me because they love 4 so much, but
you got to play that again. That's the thing.
I got to play 4 again.
Get weird
I will. But honestly, I probably 4 and 2 are the ones
But 2,
that
that's the thing is like, what are you gonna put 4 over 2 if you're a big fan of 2? You know, that's weird.
But I'm not. The thing is, 4 and 2 are probably my least favorite ones. And again, neither of these games do I think are bad games at all. I don't. But those are the 2 that I enjoyed the least. So
yeah,
I'd probably put 2 over 4, honestly. 4 is probably the one I enjoyed the least.
Yeah. Okay.
So that'd probably be the list for me.
Yeah, I'm going.
They're all good games though. Don't get me wrong.
I'm actually pretty fresh on all. The only one I wasn't is 3. I've played the others a few times over and go back to them every few years, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is 1, 2, and 3 almost feel like I could throw them all into the same camp and treat them all pretty equally because it's really hard for me to sit there and say one's better than the other. But if I gotta get real nitpicky and I just have to, you know, it's the thing. But let's go. I think 1, 2, and 3 are a shame. I go 4, 5, 1, 3, 2.
1, 3, 2. Okay, so we have 5 in the same spot. 1, 3.
I go 4, 5, 1, 3, 2.
Wait, did we have 1 in the same spot? Okay, we have 5 and 1 in the same spot.
It's wild to me that I'm putting number 2 at my worst because at one point it was like one of my favorite games ever, and it still is. But that's just how good the series is, where it's I'm really nitpicking here.
It looks like we agree on 5 and 1 now, which is interesting.
I do think 3 is better than 2, and I never thought I would say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad 3 jumped up at least a step up for you. At least it came around. And
2 doesn't really have a great villain cast.
I don't love 2, to be honest.
2's one of my
Vamp is so awesome. Fortune's so awesome.
Vamp. Yeah. But 3, you gotta remember 3's cast of villains is like
3's villains are better.
Top tier.
And then 1's villains are better. That's the thing. 1 incredible villain cast, dude, 2, and that's the thing.
3,
it's like 2's like
3 and you have the boss,
Olga, and then you have like the rollerblade dude, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not gonna put the rollerblade guy over Vulcan or something. No. Like I mean the fear is cringe, but I think it's the only.
Yeah, he's the only one I think who's But man,
mine's almost exact opposite to both of yours.
Let's hear yours.
I'd go 1, 3, 2, and then 4 and 5. Man, it's almost a toss up. I'd probably put 5 ahead of 4, but even though 4's got by far the better story,
that's true.
Yeah, because that's really. But as far as 2 goes, I think it had the best overall. It nailed what was coming down the line for our reality, as far as like the idea of memes and the control of media and the whole narrative.
That's why I hate ranking them, because now it makes me seem like I'm whatever on 2.
But again, we have to.
They're all great games.
We have to remember they're all. This is like ranking the Zelda games. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's not.
They're all great games. It's not like you're saying one is inferior to
I think we've all made it pretty clear that we don't think any of these games are bad per se. But I think that I just have always had this thing about like anytime I say that I don't love 4, people like freaking tear me apart. I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. I've never loved that game, but I would love the opportunity to be able to play it again. Just re-release it on a modern console or PC, and I'll gladly play it again. No problem. You know?
Hopefully,
and I think they will.
Yeah.
They kind of. I mean, what again? A Volume 2's coming. You're gonna release it and not have that game. I could totally see it. You get all the rest.
Volume 2, everything but Metal Gear 4. Yeah. No, they'll do Metal Gear 4, Ground Zero. It's just the first hour. Oh man. So anyway.
Okay. But yeah. I love 3, and
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right. I'll see y'all on
all right, guys.
Next episode.
See you later.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.